Yeah, first 18 minutes did a great job defending them and did a lot of things that we wanted them to do. They were shooting tough contested twos, which is kind of what the scouting report was. And I thought those last 2 minutes of the first half, when we gave up 3 threes, was a huge momentum swing in the game because I gave them the confidence that they needed to know that they could knock down those shots. And it carried over into the second half. For them to score 59 points, is unacceptable of our defense, and that's on me as their coach. I got to do a better job. We got to do a better job with our one-on-one defense. Got to have way more pride being able to sit down and guard our man. The guy to my right is really the only one that does that at a high level every single night. Everyone else is capable of doing it, but we got to be able to do it more consistently. And, if a freshman can do it every single possession, I need my better players to be able to do the same thing. So, that was the difference in the game. They made tough one-on-one plays in the second half, and, we got out of character defensively, let them get to their right hands. We stood up a couple times. We didn't contest a couple shots. We got a little out of character from what worked in the first 18 minutes, and ultimately gave them the confidence to go out there and do a lot of really good things offensively. So credit to them because they made those tough shots. And, we scored 92 points. We got to be able to win that game scoring 92 points. It has nothing to do with our offense. It has everything to do with our defense, and our defense has got to get better. So, any questions?
Questions?
What do you think changed those last 2 minutes? Was it just kind of breakdowns, guys getting lost that allowed there for them to hit those threes?
Yeah, one was, we talked about at the 3-minute mark, we got to finish with 3 perfect checkouts. Very next possession, we get lost and we don't check out Millette, and he gets the offensive rebound, kicks out, and bang a 3. Next possession, we help off the strong side corner, and that was one of the rules, never help off the strong side corner. We actually did the first play too, and another 3. And then we lay on a screen in transition. Not supposed to do that. I'm supposed to body over top of those screens. We lay on it. We go underneath. We yell at the referee for a foul. They bang another 3. So just mental breakdowns, things that we talked about. Trying not to do. Understand that it's going to happen every once in a while, but it can't happen 3 straight possessions, and that's what ultimately allowed them to cut it from 10 to 4, and have confidence going into the second half.
Coach, you talked about those shots eventually falling for Tahad and letting him shoot it. It started to fall for him here. Can you talk about maybe your frustration with getting him going, but then, like you said, scoring 92 points and losing a game like this? Like, how do you fix that?
Got to guard. Just got to guard. Our best players got to be better defenders, and that can be a challenge. And they can take that, they can take that in a negative way, or they can take it as me just, knowing that they're capable because they've shown the ability to do so. But if we're going to beat the best teams on our schedule, our best players have to play better defense. And too many times, we got caught standing up, or we weren't on the right hands, or we didn't finish possessions. And we talked about this being a really important game to having to finish possessions. And we didn't do a very good job of that tonight.
Over there to your left, Coach.
Coach over here all the way to the left. Keyshawn Murphy, double-double tonight, 13 points, 12 rebounds, 6 offensive, 6 defensive. What have you seen from his game that has grown and made him such a big presence inside on both ends of the floor?
Yeah, I thought tonight he played like he kind of did at the Florida game on the inside. He had 4 offensive rebounds in the first half. And, he's just obviously we've talked about it, but he's just gotten healthier, which, provides a little more pep in his step. And, made a big 3 late. Just does a lot of good things for us. Him and Sebastian both do a ton of good things for us on the inside. And when he plays well, we have a better chance of winning these games. So got to keep it up.
Steven, you only 22 free throws for y'all. It's just low for what they usually do. Just frustrated, disappointed that y'all weren't able to get to the line more. Or is it kind of more on maybe the officials not calling it, or y'all not attacking as much? What would you kind of classify it as?
So we took 43 2-point attempts. I thought we attacked the paint pretty hard. I got to watch the film and see if there were some possessions where we didn't get fouls, but no, I thought we did a pretty good job attacking the rim, playing off 2 and trying to finish through contact. So I'll have to watch the film and kind of see if should have been more, but not really sure.
All right.
Aiden Holloway had 9 of his 15 points in the last 2.5 minutes. What did you make of what he did down the stretch?
Yeah, we talked about it was like a 2-point game, and told our guys that a wide pin down was coming, and we're standing straight up out of our stance and get nailed on the pin down, and then we foul a 3-point shooter. Just unacceptable. So can't do that if you want to win basketball games. So, and then hit a really tough one. I thought it was pretty good defense. Made it tough too, same way he did against A&M. But when the previous possession, when you allow him an open three and he makes it, that then gives you the confidence to go out there and make a tough shot on the next possession. So, just too casual, too lackadaisical, and we got burned on it. So he made a lot of big plays late, and obviously got to the free throw line and made his free throws. So he, was a huge difference late for them making some tough shots.
Sebastian, it's just defense started so well in the first half, and then kind of fading. Just in your perspective, kind of what changed for you guys as a whole?
It started when we started communicating on our switches. First half, we were weak switching. We had guys rotating, we had guys flying around. And I would say second half, there were 2 instances. Bediako just rolled to the rim untouched, which is unacceptable. We knew that. We know his profile was he was a lob threat. He was that, at all levels of basketball he's played. But it just was unacceptable. We just couldn't communicate, and that kind of started. That led to our offense started being stagnant. And then once our offense was stagnant, it started affecting our defense, and until the game is right there.
Kevin.
Stephen, what did you think of Bediako's impact in the game, especially in the second half?
Yeah, he had a huge impact. But he changes what they do offensively because he's a guy that can catch balls in the air and go finish at the rim. They don't have anyone else that can do that. At least with that athleticism, right? He can catch lobs and finish at the rim. He did a great job. Played really well for him. That's the difference in the game right there. And 12 points and 3 rebounds, and he did a good job of occupying us on the offensive glass. He played great. He makes that team better. And, with him, their ceiling is a hell of a lot higher than without him. So I think, we knew their guards were going to be effective. But, he was a major difference in the game, having 12 points, off the bench.
Stephen, obviously not pleased with the defense from your team. How do you sort of address that and move forward, try to fix it ahead of the next game?
Yeah, you got to have a, short memory because, you got such a quick turnaround on Tuesday against another really good offensive team. So got to break the film down tonight and just try and identify like where some of our biggest mistakes were and try and learn and try and grow from it. Vanderbilt runs a ton of offensive sets, so it's gonna be really hard to break that down tonight and be able to show the guys, and then also try and get prepared for a really unique offense. So I got to do a good job tonight of really just identifying areas that we got exposed, and I hope it was just us having a lack of effort and energy, so we can be like, all right, we can't do that anymore. Because when we like Sebastian said, when we flew around and we finished possessions, you saw what the results were in the first 18 minutes. We didn't make multiple efforts in the second half. And when we did, they made tough shots because we gave them confidence at the end of the first half. So, got to break it down tonight and figure out where we got to get better because we have another unbelievable opportunity on Tuesday to wash this one away.
A few more, Johnny.
Stephen, just from a game plan perspective, trying to slow down LeBaron Pylon, throwing different guards at him. You mentioned that you weren't happy with how you guarded. How difficult is it to try to slow a guy like that down that just seemingly kept coming all night?
Yeah, Sebastian did an unbelievable job of guarding him, and I thought 2 of his threes were just heavily contested step backs, and that's going to happen sometimes, right? He's an unbelievable player. He's going to be a first round draft pick. He does those types of things. So the parts that we got to be able to control is we close out to him, we let him drive it right. You can't do that, because he's just too good of a player going downhill to his right, and he'll take full advantage of it. And he just plays with great tempo and great pace, and he's physical offensively, and just did a great job for him tonight. So made some tough ones, but I think some of our closeouts, which we talked about being really important in this game, weren't disciplined enough. And, if 33 wasn't guarding him, then, he was having a lot of success.
We'll go Ferg and then finish with Mike.
That's why, just you guys have been in the spot
Yeah.
this season, taking tough losses and been able to bounce back. What's the key to that, especially knowing what y'all got coming up next week with Van Diego and Arkansas?
Honestly, we have our team meetings. We'll talk, and then we just have to have a good practice, stack a good day. I'm gonna say that's really it at the end of the day. You can't really mull on this loss. If you make it your everything, then we're not gonna be ready for the next game, and this can be a repeat of what happened. So we've been here before. We'll bounce back from it. We'll be better on Tuesday.
Last one.
Steven, you guys only had 5 turnovers tonight, but only 7 points from the bench, which seems kind of like a statistical anomaly. How do you get more production from your bench guys moving into Vanderbilt?
Yeah, I think, Elijah was in foul trouble. Phillip's got to play more. I got to find ways to get Phillip more minutes. We got to be, 13 minutes is not enough for Phillip. We got to fix that. And Blake missed the open 3 and an open layup. So, our bench production has been better. Elijah's been, spark, but him being in foul trouble, that's where a lot of the production comes from. But the offense has nothing to do with it. Scored 92 points. That should be enough to win any game in our league. Todd had a better offensive performance. KO was making some shots. 4 of our best offensive players had pretty good nights. Had nothing to do with our offense, has everything to do with our defense. So, if we want to win games, we'll sit down and guard like we did when we had that 4-game stretch, a couple weeks ago. If we want to continue to have tough results and continue to talk about the things that we got to do better, then, we'll do what we did tonight. But this team's done a great job of bouncing back, after tough situations. We just got to stay consistent, like Seb said. Got to learn from it, and we just got to move on because, this league, the next one comes really quick. And if you, harp on this for too long, it'll affect your performance on Tuesday, and we can't let that happen.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.